Hey y'all, it's Melissa at MessyMissy Creates. The tail of Peter Rabbit is getting a little chunky. And, anyway, we've still got a ways to go. Let's see, we're back here somewhere. I still have several days in here to finish, or to start. I haven't even finished them, or haven't even started them. So, I want to start somewhere in here. This day was a clinic day, so I volunteered. Here's some pictures of the garden at the clinic. The squash is blooming, the flowers are blooming, the squash is, I've already got some squash. This is my first zucchini at my house. But I don't think I'm going to focus on that day. This day I started making some ruffles. Did I make them? I started them. I made some this day, and then I finished them this day. Not sure what else went on that day. But, oh, I pulled weeds. Yay. Surprise, surprise. And I worked in our back flower bed, and I made ruffles, but I don't know if I have the stuff for that. This day I want to do, and the next day I want to do, and I don't think it will be, but I'm going to put a trigger warning on this, just because it might be a trigger for somebody. I know it would have been a trigger for me prior to this past weekend, and so I thought I would just give you a little forewarning. And I want to talk about something real, and about myself. So, other than gardening and blah, blah, blah. And in the meantime, I got to figure out what to put on the back, or how to cover this page. I mean, I did some gardening. I did my typical Friday morning, here's my day and date. I did some gardening in the morning. I did a video, and then that evening, my husband had signed us up for a gun safety class. So we went to that evening, and so there's the little clip art for that. This Hope gave me in Happy Mail. It said, in every seed sleeps a flower. And it fits perfectly on this page. And I'm debating on using it as a background, but then where's my writing spot? And I don't want to cover it up. So I thought about tipping it in and then just using the back of this for writing, because I actually might have a lot to say that day. The other option I have is to find something and make a pocket and use a tag, and then we need trim. But anyway, so this was a 2-part class, and the first night, this Friday night, was the classroom portion of this, and I was scared to death to go. I'm gonna do some cutting while I am talking. I've already cut out a good bit of stuff, but anyway, somebody said, why did you take this class if you're so terrified of guns? And I think, honestly, I said because my husband signed me up for it. No, I think that he has a friend who is a deputy in the next county over, and he has some friends that, whatever, and they thought that this might help me get over my fear. I have been a victim of gun violence, actually twice in my life, but one that really got me. And it was about 7 or 8 years ago, and I was robbed and kidnapped at gunpoint. And so, in the meantime, I'm going to cut out some stuff. And so I'm sharing that with you because, well, why am I putting that out there on YouTube? I don't know exactly, other than because I journal my day and you kind of tend to see what I do. And also because it's a real thing, and I think people need to talk about things more. And, you know, PTSD is a real thing, and if you have it, it's a struggle. And so prior to Thursday night, so this was the class night, this day I went and saw my therapist, and he said, if you can't even see, because my husband does have a handgun, we never did when we had young kids, but he's gotten one in the last couple years, and he hides it from me because he knows I don't want to see it. I don't even want to look at it. I can't even look at it. So he said, if you can't even look at a gun, how are you going to take a gun class? So, well, that's a very good question. So I came home and I'm like, okay, I really need to look at it. Let me get that part out of the way. So I did it. I survived it. And I still don't know. I'm not making any headway. I have to make headway. Let me get these off my desk. I'm going to show you again. These are my printables. This is what I'm using for May. I've shown them to you before. They were supposed to come out in March, but they didn't. So here is, they've got grid on them. I love grid. I love the pattern grid. And then here's the days and days of the week. They're in my Etsy shop, and it's linked below. So I can get that out of the way and maybe find some sort of a pocket or something. And anyway, so I was terrified to go. But I also, at the same time, it's like I knew I needed to face my fear. And so let me try something while I'm talking. Does that fit? Not quite. It's a little large. Let me see what I have that actually fits on here. That's a little bit big. So I knew that I'd have him there with me, and I knew the man that was teaching the class, and he's a friend of ours, and like I said, he's a deputy in the next county over. And so that might be appropriate. That was the only reason why I even considered doing it. And I knew that he knew my circumstances, or at least somewhat. I don't know that laugh fits for that day. It physically fits, but I don't know that it is appropriate for that day. But we might use it anyway. So, first we go in, and the sign-in sheet, and there's this whole table of guns. Now they're all empty. He verified, and he had someone else, and he actually had my husband verify that they were all empty. And you know, there was a lot of the, you know, safety, and it was focused on safety and how to properly use a handgun, and so on and so forth. And I appreciate the sheriff in that county that he does this for the public, because there is a lot of people that have guns that don't know how to use them, and that don't know safety. You know what I'm saying? So, and this isn't to get into, I'm digging in paper. This isn't about a debate between guns or no guns or whatever, because I still have my feelings about them. But when we pulled in, I realized, here, I could let you look. I'm like reaching way over, looking at things. that I could use just as journaling, like if I were to tip this in and then just to use this as journaling. Now I don't have to, I can just draw lines and that'd be fine. And I might do that. I might be putting more thought into this than it deserves. But I had a piece of paper in here that I thought I might use. So I thought I would look. Nope, I don't want to. I love that paper. It was so hard, I couldn't use it. That doesn't match. Okay. Again, I could use one of these to make a pocket. But I think I like that because it has deeper meaning than just the seeds, because you know, there was a seed planted that day and it helped me overcome something that I had been terrified of for 7 or 8 years. And so I'm gonna get some clear tape, and I think I'm going to, I could do this with glue, but I think I'm going to do this with, oh, I'm gonna really botch it up. Oh, come on. Don't do that. Don't be like that. Oh, okay. It'll just have a wrinkle in it. Oh, it has a couple wrinkles in it. Okay, nobody will notice. Let's try to do a little bit better this time. Let's actually kind of fold it and then put it down in the little gutter there. But anyway, when we pulled in, the man who did this, however many years ago, is serving 2 life sentences. He was charged with robbery with a weapon, kidnapping, and assault. And so he had just gotten out of prison. He had been in prison for 30 years. And I'm glad that I did not know that when I was going through this, because, or, you know, while I was with him, because I just thought he was someone who was down on his luck and needed some money for drugs. And that kind of kept me going during that time frame. And if I had known that he had, you know, attempted to kill somebody and while he was in prison or anything like that, I probably would have lost my mind and not ended up as well as it did. Because I'm here to tell about it. So one thing that I knew, and now I'm looking for washi. One thing that I knew is I do watch Law and Order. I think I'm gonna use this. This has pretty pink colorful flowers on it like that does. And I say I got this from Law and Order. I don't know if I did or not, but something in me told me to keep him talking. To keep talking to him, to make him see that I was a person. And my husband tells me that I survived because of my gift of gab. Because he also tells me I could talk to a stump post. So, which is probably true. But, I mean, I sit here day after day and I talk to myself and my crafter. No, I'm talking to you. So I know I'm talking to somebody. That's a little different. Oh, here was a pocket I could have used. That would have been cute, but I didn't craft that day, so there was that. Anyway, I'm a little scattered. Hold on. I just lost my washi I was using. Okay. Anyway, this was in the middle of the day from a public place, and I mean, so I can't even you know, I couldn't even say, okay, well, I shouldn't have been out at night, or I you know, won't do that again, or I won't do that. It was a long time before I could go in public again. I mean, a long time. It took me a very long time to get up the nerve to even go in a grocery store or anything. And, okay, I think I'm going to put that there. This doesn't go on that day. This is Friday the 25th. And so it was a lot. I also need ribbon or trim. So how are we going to put ribbon or trim? And I may put this back here. And then I will talk about that back here. And that'll be kind of a little bit of hidden journaling or whatever. But anyway, when we were pulling into the place, I realized that we were driving right by the prison that he's in. They've moved him he was somewhere in South Florida, and they've moved him up close to, I found this out about a year ago. I was not happy. I was not a happy camper at all. Let's look through ruffles. And, because I think I'm going to put a ruffle on this page indicating that it's kind of a flip. Well, it's not kind of a flip, it is a flip. That one might be, that was so big. I need to make some smaller ones. I already said that, didn't I? Here's a peace symbol. It's got all the right colors to match this. That might be appropriate for that day. What do you think? Here's some little honeybees. So he's now in this prison that we just drove right by. And so at first that really bothered me. I didn't think I was going to be able to even get out of the truck. And we had another friend that was going with us, taking the class too. A friend of my husband's, his wife. And I think I'm going to do this. I could do a little journaling spot if I put the pictures like here and here. I could do a little journaling spot there, but I think I'm just going to keep my journaling spot to the back here. Let's glue that on. So, anyway, they didn't find him after he let me go. They didn't find him for about 4 or 5 days. And that was very hard. Oh shoot, I wish I hadn't put that right there. But I already have the glue, because I already have one. I already have a ruffle up top. I should have put it like down here or right here in the middle. But it's okay, it's there. It's glued. So, I was terrified. And so, but then they found him. I had to go do the lineup thing and the whole kit and caboodle, and it was hard. I'm not gonna lie, it was hard. And so I think that's all the things I had to go on that day. Yeah. Okie doke. So, oh, and I know what I could have put on that day. If I just needed blank, I could have put that magazine image on that. I'll use that for maybe today. Anyway, I didn't think I was going to be able to even get out of the truck. And so, but I did, and I walked in, and like I said, when I first signed the sign-in table, and then right next to it was all these guns, and I'm just like freaking out. And so I'm like, just ignore them, just go to the back and sit in the back and do your thing and just sit down. So I did, and I made it through the class. There was one slide that caught me off guard, because my issue was the fact that I had stared down the barrel of the gun for so long, that's all I could see. You know, when I'd have flashbacks or whatever, that was what I would see. And so, and I'm hoping that if one of you, maybe there's somebody out there who has a similar experience or an experience, and I'm hoping that this helps you in some way. That's why I'm doing this. And because I'm proud of myself. And I don't say that very often. And I know maybe that sounds a little whatever, but I am. Because A, I survived the event the first time. And B, I survived this class. And passed with flying colors. So, there was something about... Where did my numbers go? Okay, here we go. Come here, chick. There was something about knowing that, because after the class, I think I closed my eyes through a lot of the slides after that one got me. And then I always do that. Oh, I did that too low or too something. Okay. I mean, too high. There was... after the class, everybody left and he was talking to us and, asking how he could help and how I did and how, you know, whatever. And so then I realized that I went from not being able to even look at one, but I had to not only look at one, I had to handle one, touch one, learn how to load one, and learn how to shoot, all in less than 24 hours. So I got a crash course in that. You know what I'm saying? And so, thinking, I still have 2 of these left. That doesn't match. No, remember we decided that one had to go that way. I'm assuming those are the only 2 I have left because those are the only 2 I can find. Now I could use, if one of these matched, if I wanted to, I feel like there needs to be something else on here. Like offset this and then put like some kind of sticker there or whatever. But I could put like one of these labels and write something. That one is fun. That one might be a fun color. I could put it here and then the label here. Or I could put the label up here. Let's try that. And then I can write something in that. Anyway, so he gave me some rubber bullets to go home and learn how to come home and learn how to load the magazine. And, you know, he showed us the different kinds, the different kind of guns and the different kind of whatever. Because I didn't know one from... I mean, I know my husband used to hunt. And so I had been around like a rifle or a shotgun or whatever. But that was my experience. I mean, you know, that was it. And so I think that will look cute, don't you? That's super cute. Okay, that worked. That side's done. This is going to be done. I think I'm going to do some lines, but I can come back and do them. But they do, it very much was about safety. And I appreciated that. Because the other fear that I had is of handling one is the fear that I would hurt somebody accidentally. You know what I'm saying? I just have never been, I've never been a real big handgun person anyway. You know, I mean, like I said, my husband used to hunt, my daughter used to hunt with him, and we'd eat deer meat, and, you know, he'd bring home food, and that was that. But he hasn't done that in a long time. And so anyway, so I survived the class. I came home and I over and over and over learned how to shove those things. I had to cut my thumbnails down pretty short, learn how to load that magazine. And then anyway, then we came back the next day bright and early in the morning and had to do the actual shooting part. Well, again, I was absolutely terrified. There's one picture in here that I'm going to put in here, but I'm not going to show it on YouTube because, well, I'll show you that right there. Because these two guys right here, I would have never made it without them. And of course, my husband was right beside me. But he was doing his own part of the class, too. But this one on the left was the instructor, and this one on the right was helping. And he assigned him to me to help me. He really walked me through how to do it. And he had asked me initially, have you ever shot before? And I said, no. And he was like, oh, okay. Well, I did learn I'm a pretty good shot. But like I was saying, somewhere between Friday night when we were, I think when we were leaving the thing, and I asked, because I knew there was a county jail right there. I knew we passed that, but there was another one. And I knew there was a prison over there somewhere. And I asked which one it was, and they told me. And I knew that's where he was. And so it sort of flipped something in my brain that said this is almost like, I kept calling it poetic justice, because it's like, you know, I'm learning, I'm not only learning this, but I'm overcoming this. And right outside his little 6x6 cell, you know what I mean? They told me, the two deputies told me that I should take we had the big sheets, they let us take them home. And they told me that I should go take that, go visit him and go show it to him. But I'm not that brave. So anyway, this was my husband and I with our certificates. They did a big group photo and I cropped them out. But this was me. This was after the shoot. And then, anyway, y'all, I survived. And I kind of went into this like tunnel vision. There was 8 other people shooting. We went in 2 groups. So I asked to go in the last group so I could see what the first group was like and how they did it. And they did 5 rounds of 5 rounds, if that makes sense. And so, anyway, I did it, y'all. And here is my little target. I don't know if you can see. I've got a couple in that triangle. I've got several in there. And I hit those 2 a couple times. But it was different drills, like, you know, quick and then, you know, because, well, anyway, I'm not going to get into all that. But, I got to think of how I want to lay this out. I am a little frazzled talking about it, and I can tell that I'm fumbling, but I did it. And so I was pretty proud of myself. I don't know that I will ever shoot again. I don't know. I mean, this class qualifies you to get your concealed carry permit. Or, well, you have to have this class to get it. And I could go apply for it, but I don't know that that's what I want. I just wanted to prove to myself that I could do it, if that makes sense. This butterfly one looks pretty. These are also from Hope. That looks really pretty as trim there. Or I might need a pocket because I can't write on both. Yeah, I think I am going to need a pocket. We're not going to do a bunny pocket again. This is not, well, it's not bad. It's a little narrow. see if I have another piece. Whoop, 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 whoop. I tell you what, I have this. It's the same paper as that. But I have this lighter pink. This is just something that I already have kind of cut out. That would work. I'd have to trim it this way and this way. What else do I have at my, right here beside me? I don't like the yellow. I have green, I have yellow, bright yellow, I have blue. The green won't match. I think I like this pink best, but that's going to be a narrow pocket. I made this as a tag. I think I'll use that as a tag. And then I'll use, what about, wait a minute, but wait. What about, is that too similar? Maybe. Oh, I could do something like this. That wouldn't be too bad. I mean, it's flowers and that's flowers. It looks better than that one. I don't know, that one doesn't look bad either. I wanted to do something that wasn't either things. I could still do bunnies. That one doesn't match. Orange doesn't match. What else do I have? I have some 6x6 sheets that Hope gave me, so let's look through these. That would certainly work. Are these double-sided? No. This one might work. I like the grid. I like that grid. Oh yeah, that matches that really well. Okay, I think we have a winner. And then that one says, okay. I like that one too, but that one's too busy. And that purple would be pretty, but I really love this grid. So let's do that. And hot, oh my goodness, it was so hot. We were in the blazing sun. And it was hot, 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 hot by the time we got done. I'm just going to cut it in half. So 3-inch pocket, a 3x6. Well, I could use, instead of just using that one, this one actually is kind of fun because it still has that little bit of a border on it. It's perforated though, but once I glue it, it won't matter. I may have to trim a little off the edge because that hump is getting pretty significant right there. Of course, it'll hang over. Yeah, I'll trim my hair off. Just like that much. So yeah, I learned a lot in 24 hours. And I just said I wanted that, but then I thought about this, and that could be a ribbon. Okay, so, and I just cut the other one. I don't want to have to cut this one too. So let me take well, I could put it under there. Yeah, that'll work. I can still leave it on. Yeah, I can do it. So we finished and we got our certificates and everything, and we kind of hung around and talked to the man. I didn't even get the man's name. Turns out he, well, anyway, I won't tell you all that part, but, he was a super nice guy, and he was very patient with me, and I appreciated it greatly. And so I couldn't have done it without them and without my husband's encouragement. And he has been so patient. I mean, you know, he went through all this with me too. The court part of it was 18 months long. You know, that 4 days before they found him were excruciating. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't, you know, he had my address. He had my purse. He had my, it was an excruciating 4 days. And I didn't sleep, and I didn't, you know, go anywhere. Well, until they called me and told me to come down to the police station to do the lineup, and that was scary. And, the process, you survive the event, but then the process gets you. I think I'm going to have this picture and this picture on this page. And then I'm going to put this picture on a tag of some sort. I don't even know if I was really showing you that or not. And then afterwards we went and bought, well, we came home and took a nap. I was absolutely exhausted. And then we went to Lowe's and Home Depot and got pretty flowers. So, there was my treat. And like I said, I'll put a trigger warning on the title too. But you know, if you are somebody who has a similar story, or a story, period, you know, that would that be too much to use as a tag? It's thin paper. Would that blend in too much if I put that there? And yeah, maybe. Let me look for some. Let's do this yellow. I introduced the yellow down here, so maybe I can use a yellow tag. And I want that tag to be about this long. So let me cut that. I have a lighter yellow somewhere, but I'm just gonna use this one because it's right here. It was within reach. These I had ready to go for the tag video that I still haven't made. Surprise, surprise. But I am gonna have to wait because now it's time to make a new journal. Okay, let the glue dry. So I don't know if y'all wanted to hear all of that, but I lost my glue paper again. Here's one. Ooh, and I might could use that too. Yeah, so if you there's still a lot of things that, you know, that trigger me, that whatever, and I know that everybody has something, you know, and so I think we all are just, you know, getting by the best we can, but I think that I tend to not talk about things. I mean, I do to some degree, and I had some very good friends and a very devoted husband that helped me get through that process. I don't know that well, it matches a little bit. And if I hadn't had them at the time, I would have really just, I don't know that I would have ever left my house. I don't know that I would have ever, you know, but, and then going through the court system was horrendous because it was a lot of hurry up and wait. I went to every court hearing, even if I didn't have to go. I went to everything. And it made me furious that he got to speak in court and I did not at first. So there was all these hearings, and then I finally got my day. And then I got to read my I did a impact statement. First he pled guilty, and then I was relieved, and they were going to drop the kidnapping charge because he was a habitual offender. Everything that he did was doubled. So he was already facing a life sentence just for the armed robbery again. Because that's what he went to prison for the first time. And then while he was in prison, he attempted to kill somebody, was charged with attempted murder, so was in there longer. But he was out, I don't know how long he had been out. It was not very long. And this is what he chose to do with his freedom. And that was what I put in my impact statement, was that was what, you know, I got lucky. What happens to the next person that he does this to, you know? And so the next person might not be so lucky. I mean, not that I considered myself lucky for having to have gone through that, but lucky for surviving it. Fortunate, and blessed. And my faith, and, you know, getting him, just talking to him like a, you know, I mean, what do you talk about when, because at some point we transitioned from the public place to my car, and he made me drive, and he had this gun in my side, and so I'm like, what do you talk about when someone's got a gun on you? And then I started worrying about going over bumps, because then I thought, okay, now he's going to accidentally hurt me, you know. I'm going to put this at the bottom of this. I'm going to leave out. I've got this other picture. I've got a couple other pictures that those two I'm going to probably put on another tag and just kind of tuck them behind here. I don't know if I'm going to use that one or not on this particular page. But anyway, I do not... What else did I do that day? That was enough. Oh, we went to Fiskars. Okay, well, I didn't indicate that, and that's fine. But I can very easily. He was going to take me somewhere. He's like, do you want to go somewhere and sit down and eat? And this is the paper, but I don't have, I was going to cut one out and put it like right here, but I don't have one that fully says Fiskars. I should have another one in here somewhere, but I don't seem to know where it is. So I can always go back and add that. And, oh, I needed, where did my ribbon go? Here it is. Need my butterfly ribbon. And I think I can do that right there. I mean, I can always attach some ribbon or a ruffle to the top of the tag. I need something at the top of that tag, don't I? But I can put this ribbon right here. And I always think it's upside down, but they're alternating. One's right side up, one's upside down. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue right along here, unless, no, I can't run it down the side anymore. I think I'm going to do this right here. That was my original plan, I think, and I'm going to stick with it. And, anyway, I probably shared more than y'all wanted to know, but it's hard to explain the significance of something like this and how big of a deal it was for me without knowing why it was a big deal. And I'm trying to do better about talking about things because I want to encourage other people to talk about things. It's not, I think so much I get hung up in the shame of things, or it's like it's, you know, I mean, I didn't do it. He did it. You know, it's not my shame. Okay, apparently we need another little dab of glue. Another little bead of glue. And so I just hope to encourage you, you know, to speak out. To, you know, if you have something to speak out about. I wonder what would happen if we doubled that over and made a little loop-de-doo. I might have to trim it because that would be a long loop-de-doo. But that would kind of be cute, wouldn't it? Might trim it a little bit. Let's trim it like 2 butterflies worth. And then I can put this, another little dab-a-doo, dab-a-doo, dab-a-glue, dab-a-dab-a-doo. Flintstone error, anyone? But, so I faced my fears and I won. That's the moral of this story. Like I said, what I do with that from here, I don't know. I don't have any desire to, the guy was very impressed with my accuracy. And he told me, he said, if you do your first event, let me know and I will be there. See, I just don't think this one fits. I just don't know. I don't know. Maybe it does fit. It certainly matches the... I'm gonna keep it in there and see what I think about it. But I still want to add, and I could have done another day if I had quit yammering so much. I have all of these little things that have absolutely nothing to do with this day, but why not? Why not? Because I'm certainly, these are all little button tabs. I'm going to make a tab like that and use that as a tag back on the, did I already do the day that I can't remember if I journaled the day that I made the buttons or not. These are very small staples that don't want to come out. Okay, got that one. And got that one. Okay. So, I don't know, you know, you never know when you go out on a limb. The funny thing about YouTube is when you go out on a limb and you do something different or you talk about something different, the inclination is for people to either unsubscribe or subscribe, you know. There will be somebody upset that I talked about this, and I know that, and I hope not, because I'm not doing it from a standpoint of controversy. I'm doing it from a standpoint of survival or survivorship, if that's a word. And I'm doing it from a standpoint of encouragement, because, you know, I stay silent too much. And I think that the only way that we... Ooh, mercy, that stuck way out. Of course, this mac and cheese box isn't helping. Yeah, that stuck way out, but that's okay. And then this little, here's our little ribbon for Allison's challenge. Her item of the month challenge was ribbon and trim. So we have the ribbon here with the little loop-de-doo. This was a selfie I took with my little Target thing. And I should have put, I have, some flowers. Do I have some? Oh, surely I have flower stickers. Yeah, I have flower stickers. There's one. Oh, that one's cute. We went and got flowers. I know my husband was proud of me. I know he was relieved. Because I know he was worried. I was worried sick. I just didn't think that I had it in. I didn't think I could do it. And so, but I think realizing how close by he was, and you know, that gave me that little bit of oomph to go, oh, heck no. You know what I mean? You're not going to win. You're not going to win. And you're going to quit running my life. You know what I mean? Okay. So, if there is someone or something that's in your head and that's running your life, I hope that you share. Feel free to hit me in the messages. Hit me in the messages. You can always message me on Instagram. And, you know, I know it's hard to do on YouTube. Doesn't really have a messaging, whatever. But, and I would be happy to talk to you. Or, you know, find a local support group or whatever. All those things. I don't know what all the things are. But, find somebody that you trust and talk to them. And, yeah. So, these were my 2 days of triumph over my fears. What I do with that from here out, I have no idea. But it'll be because whatever I do or don't do with it, it'll be my choice. You know what I'm saying? It won't be based on fear. It'll be because I choose to or I choose not to. It's not going to have anything to do with him. Alrighty. Yeah. I like that picture. And yeah, and I've still got my cane. I had it leaning up against the table. I was afraid I wasn't going to be able to stand that long. But anyway, I've yammered long enough. And this month is almost over. Oh my goodness, this is crazy. Crazy, I tell you, crazy. The next day we mulched our blackberry vines. And anyway, we came home and, I mean, I crashed. And then we went up to Home Depot and Lowe's and got flowers, like I said. And I guess that was it. That was enough for one day. Yeah, I probably should have printed out. I might go back and do that. You know, like the Home Alone face where he has his hands on his face and he's screaming. I might go back and like print something like that because I was scared to death. I really was. I was terrified. I don't think I can stress to you enough how terrified I was. But like this says, in every seed sleeps a flower. So I look at that as not only from real flowers, but it's a, I don't know what to call it. I think that's because in us, there's a seed. We just have to wake it up, right? And we never know what we can do until we try. So, all right. I hope that y'all enjoyed that. I know that that was very different. As far as the conversation was very different. But, you know, you see my daily journal. And so you see my stuff. And I could have skipped those pages if I'd really wanted to. But I didn't. I figured I would share them with you. And I would share that experience with you. And just hope that... maybe hope it reaches somebody it needs to reach. You know, give somebody some encouragement somewhere, somehow. And I hope that y'all have a wonderful rest of your day. And I thank you so much for being here. And I thank you for listening to me. And I hope that I didn't offend anyone or trigger anyone too much. And I hope that it was received in the spirit in which it was delivered, or in my intentions, because my intentions on sharing were genuine. So y'all have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you in the next video. Okay, all right, thanks, bye.